This conference will now be recorded.
May 19th, 6:02 PM, Monterey Select Board. We have the whole board present here in Town Hall, Susan Cooper, Ken Basler, and myself, Justin Maycook. The first order of business is electing chair of the board.
Are you willing to serve again?
So,
Yes, he is. So I would move that we appoint Justin as chair.
So I just wanna be transparent. I've been in touch with my boss, the person that I work for, and I'm trying to negotiate staying in Monterey through May. But it's not a guarantee at this point. It's gonna be up later this week, actually, in person for the first time in a while. So we're gonna sit down and have a real face-to-face conversation about that and try to set that in stone, but
This May?
a year from now, yeah, which is the end of my term.
Right.
So,
Well, should you in fact move before then we'll have to have a special election anyway. And at that point,
if that works for you both, that's fine by me.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
cool, all right, then I move we elect Justin as the chair. Lucky dog.
All
You
right,
second, Ken?
I second that.
All in favor?
all right, and I'll abstain,
Victim of your
but
own.
I will,
Victim of your own success.
the motion carries, and I will chair the board. Thank you both.
I would like to just say that you've done an incredibly good job as chair of organizing and keeping everything on track. There's no reason to change that now.
And you're like, I really appreciate your great attention to detail.
And if you'd like, I'd be glad to go with you with your meeting with your employer.
All right, so the next order of business is a contract with EDM. This is for the Community Center Pavilion. We've already signed 2 contracts with them, but this is for structural engineering and electrical engineering. And once these are signed, the construction project will be put out to bid, as I understand it.
Yes.
Reading through that contract, a bunch of the things that it's like, they make this list of all the things they don't cover, and I'm looking at that list going, so many of these don't seem to apply to this project anyway, but like a man list, I'm like,
It's probably just a general standard contract.
That's a boilerplate.
boilerplate, so not tailored to this specific.
No.
Okay,
And they'll have to do the work, the design, and prepare the bid specs, and then the bid document, and make a recommendation to the select board.
it seemed to indicate we were expected to do the bid specs. Did I misread that?
There may also be some level of confusion because this is only one of 3 contracts. Because remember, EDM is no longer one company, they've split off into 3 businesses, but as I understand it, they are going to be preparing the bid document.
That's my understanding, that's what they've said all along, right, Dennis? Yes. Said all along.
In an alternate universe, we go back 5 years, and we buy the kit, and we pour the pad, without asking any questions. And we had the pavilion 4 years
Well,
ago.
wait a minute, can we rethink this then? Are you suggesting that we do that? There's a great company in Connecticut that builds post and beam. I talked to them for a pavilion, 240,000, could put it up tomorrow.
Well, that's not too far off what this will end up being, but we're at this point, we're deep into the.
I thought so. Bidding,
Cultural.
number 6, bidding front-end documents, division 0 and 1 will be prepared and assembled by the client.
Well, that we definitely need to square away.
And then it says EDM will provide technical sections for insertion into the specification.
What was the original RFP that was signed?
I'm wondering if that might just be the production of the document. Not the actual bid specs.
If it's not-
Bidding front-end documents will be prepared and assembled by the client. They provide technical sections.
Do we have, is there an architect that's working on it?
Yes.
Yes, another branch of EDM. I think that's part of what's going on. And although I don't
We should
want
clarify
to
that.
put ourselves in a tough spot, but I think part of what's going on is we have two other contracts with other branches of EDM.
Yeah, and I think the architect, as you mentioned, would be the organization preparing the actual bid document.
You're gonna check into that?
I'll give him a call. I'll call him up. Get a better understanding of that line.
So it's number 6 under assumptions, yeah. Well, at least I
Did you send me the building?
guess it's posted.
Yeah.
It's also posted, go to the town website.
If you would like that answer to that question, the architect is standing by for a telephone call.
I forgot about that. Yeah, let's call him.
Let's do it.
You got him right there?
I have his phone number.
You're standing by.
No, that's good because I don't want to delay this.
I know, it'd be nice to just get it done.
Is it the 203-530 number, Dennis?
Yes.
Okay.
6371.
Meanwhile, the one is tiny print.
Second page.
I didn't get a chance to ask, was Brett in touch with you? Out of Pittsfield? The Berkshire Regional Plan?
I have not spoken with him.
You haven't spoken with him?
I can't recall, no. But since he came to that meeting.
Okay.
I have a question for him.
He was supposed to come tonight. He told me he was talking to Roger and he
Yeah.
told me he'd be here.
I don't recall, I remember.
Good text.
The pills you're taking, do
What bills? What?
they,
What happened?
where am I?
Did I go somewhere?
Do you have the ability to text him? I don't think I have his cell number. Is that what you said?
I don't have his- Yeah, if anybody
I
has.
think I only have his office number. Maybe his cell comes up on his,
For Brett,
yeah.
to discuss the seasonal communities or the CPA?
Just to tell you about the one-stop grant that we want to apply for.
But it's actually for Fox Hill Road. There's a grant available that you can apply for Fox Hill Road.
I did not hear Fox Hill Road. That's the only, no answer, so.
No, and we hadn't previously been in touch via phone, so he might not know. Dennis, have you talked to him over phone?
Yes, he
before?
said he would be available for a phone call.
Do you want to try
Yeah.
calling him?
I
and let
sent
him
him a
know?
text, so
Okay.
I'm gonna follow it up.
Do we wanna go on and see if he? gets
Yeah,
the
I mean, I think unless we can clarify who's preparing the bid documents, we can't sign the contract.
Sorry to be the sticky. point,
No,
but
it's very important.
well, we can sign the NOI form, but.
Yeah,
You said that, did you come back to us?
I'm confused by that, to be honest with you.
I'm confused.
So moving on in the agenda, next item is the Lake Garfield winter drawdown. So Ken, I'm not sure,
Christian, Dennis calling, we're trying to reach you. Please call me.
not sure what you're up to speed with or not, but currently we have approval for a 3-foot drawdown.
Yeah.
And we're applying for approval for a 6-foot drawdown. We applied last year very late and tried to amend the existing NOI. Actually, our local conservation commission approved it as an amendment, or approved considering an amendment, and DEP overruled them. And we ran out of time. So here we are looking for a 6-foot drawdown. from scratch the right way. Hopefully for the June meeting. However, there's a portion of the application that seems like may not be able to be done by our lake scientists. I don't think that precludes us from sending the NOI, and even if it's for the July meeting, I think if we want to
Is
apply,
it the July Conservation Commission meeting or our meeting?
the Conservation Commission meeting, so ideally, we would, apply in June, or for the June Conservation Commission meeting, but there may be a delay causing us to move to the July meeting.
I think, I remember Michael, I think that's Mike there, but he talked about giving them extra time. Like saying we would want to do it in June. Because normally
Well, we already pushed it off from May to June.
yeah, the deadline is, the last Thursday of the month, which is Thursday. So I think that the thought was to do it, give it to them after Thursday, so it gives them a lot of time to review it. Get it ready for July.
Just a little blindsided because we had a phone call with the lake scientists and Lake Garfield committee and Roger and myself about a month ago
Maybe even longer.
and agreed to delay from the May meeting to the June meeting to allow for adequate time. And then find out that there's another specialist maybe warranted. I don't know, I think,
She prepared it, but she feels like she can't sign it. I mean, this is what she said. Please consider having a wildlife specialist review this WPA Appendix B detailed wildlife habitat evaluation form. I completed it to the best of my ability with the information provided by Biodiversity and Beaver Solutions, but I cannot sign this form because I'm not a wildlife specialist. So, she said Emily Stockman, but she also mentions it might make sense to have Nathan Nadeau, who actually is the guy from Biodiversity that did the assessment.
Yeah.
It would make sense to have him sign it if he's the one who did the assessment.
Yeah.
Right, she's just saying, I didn't do the assessment, so I can't sign it, which is fair. But why don't we just have him sign it since he did?
I agree with that, but
Is it an issue with him signing it?
We have to ask him, I think is the issue, yeah.
But he wrote the assessment, so he should be willing to sign it.
well, I guess she wrote it with some help from him.
Whatever.
The information provided by him.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
It is a lot of places. It's a lot of different people that did things, right? Because the Beaver people also
Yeah,
did an assessment.
If we're confident in applying for a 6-foot drawdown, I know that I am, I think we should go ahead and sign the NOI and go from there.
So I was out on the lake yesterday. And you're already experiencing growth on the lake coming up
For sure.
from the 3-foot drawdown. So there's no question in my mind that a 6-foot drawdown, otherwise you're gonna be able to walk across the lake on the weeds. So, I think that we should, push for that. Last year, did anybody from Monterey talk with the folks in Boston? Did they get together and have a meeting at all, or kind of trying to figure out what's going on? Or what's it?
We didn't talk to, the person who we talked to was, in the Western Mass region, so they were in Springfield.
Yeah.
Mike McHugh, I think his name was, and we talked to him, but it always seemed that their opinion was that just put it there. They have no opinion until it's time for them to have an opinion. So that they're not gonna tell you what to do or what not to do or what's best. Their feeling is that you just submit what you submit and they'll look at it. There were conversations about a good direction to go, what they might accept. And that some of them, I know when I talked to Mike McHugh, he did not have an issue with the 6-foot drawdown. He was DEP, didn't have issues with 6-foot drawdown. So, there was some conversation, I believe Mike Germain talked with him. I don't know if anybody else from Concom talked to him. I talked to them.
But talking to no one in Boston.
No, yeah, the people who deal with, we would send the application to Springfield.
And they really do respect in general the local rule of the town's conservation commission. Where we get hung up the most is procedurally. And so last year, we did something that wasn't fully by the book,
And the bureaucracy part.
and the bureaucracy caught up to us. And our lake scientist, our former lake scientist, I don't know if you ever met Ken Wagner, he's no longer our lake scientist. He basically said,
Sort of retired.
yeah, he's retired, and we have Hillary Kenyon as our lake scientist. He said, apply as an amendment, DEP never strikes things down, and they did.
Until they do.
So, and also just be aware that the science and the guidance from the state is in the midst of changing. I think there's about a 20-year-old guidance on drawdowns, and they have a draft.
It's been in process for like 5 years.
That's been in process and is nearing completion, and the two directly contradict each other. And so Hillary, on our call a month ago, said, sometimes the current technical guidance from 20 years ago says this, and the draft version that's hopefully approved soon says something completely different, and you have to make sense of it.
So I think you're correct, that we should go ahead with the NOI and just submit that now and get the process going, and we're in a timeline.
It's just a single signature.
I'll also note it was reported on May 18th for the Otis Reservoir. They gained 2 inches from last week, and they have 27 more inches to go for
Wow.
refill.
Wow.
On May 18th? Goodness gracious, they started.
No, they didn't necessarily start late, it just, there's
I don't
not
know.
dang enough.
No,
They play
Right
by,
up, right?
no,
Oh, is that what it is?
well, they play by a different set of rules,
Yeah.
because our refill has to be done by April 1st.
I know,
Yeah.
we had to start it in what, like February or something,
February, yeah. First one.
which is kind of crazy.
Play by a totally different set of rules.
Which one?
So who submits the NOI here?
I'll give it to,
Okay,
the contractor. Yeah.
Along with
Excuse
your,
me. Yeah.
We have Justin Baker.
All right, Justin.
I have Christian Dankeler on the line.
Hi, Christian. Oh. Good, how are you doing? Is it okay if I put you on speaker with the whole board? Okay. So we're reviewing the contract and we would like to sign it, of course. We're looking at page 2, assumptions, point number 6.
Yes.
And it says bidding front-end documents will be prepared and assembled by the client. We were of the understanding that EDM was going to prepare bidding documents, and I'm not sure if we're getting confused because that's in one of the other 2 contracts with the other branches of EDM, or?
Yes. So that would be on us because we're the architects.
Mhm.
And we would work with you in conjunction, the front end specification, he's not saying specification, he's just saying the front end, which is the bidding documents themselves in terms of, just how they're paid, how they bid it, kind of the technicalities of the project. So we would include that in our specifications, but we would work with you to see how you typically handle it or how you want to handle it for this particular project.
So we could work with town council to
Exactly.
draft a bid document, but you would put all of the technical specifications in that bid document.
Absolutely. So if you want, just cross that out and initial it and so, and that's fine.
Mhm. Any other questions?
that was the only one I found.
All right, well, I think we're gonna go forward. Thank you for your time.
It's a great project. I mean, congratulations to y'all for doing it. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
All right.
All right, have a good one.
Too.
Bye-bye.
3 years later.
Do you have a clean?
I can make one. I think I have that. Well, I don't know if I have it in the PDF, but I mean, it's only the PDF. I don't have it in the Word document.
it just reads now, EDM will provide technical sections for insertion into the bidding specification.
Representative, yes.
Guess that would be.
Hillary,
Maybe Hillary be the representative.
I don't know, I was gonna write a little more about myself. Here,
Yeah, I was
Is
just
there-
wondering about that.
signature property owner of the state.
Right. It's a great thought, so it's kind of-
It's a weird situation.
What's the date, 5?
Today's the 19th.
Yeah, but that was the thing with representative, I'm not sure who we put the.
It says if any, so.
I know, but it seems like it could be Hillary, it could be, I don't know, the town administrator, I think, I'm not sure. It said the state, right?
It'll be fine. They'll come back.
Okay, here's the NOI signed.
Yep.
The EDM here, we have the change as discussed.
I think it's just a single signature back there on that page.
Move that we accept the EDM proposal as amended.
Second,
We'll call a vote.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's unanimous vote.
With approval.
Doing so.
I'll fill the rest of that.
I didn't fill out the title. Okay. The special town meeting date for the school district. So I forwarded an email from the superintendent.
So this just in, I was sitting earlier today, and our intel has 17 people were laid off today, or given notice of being laid off.
So so they're deciding on the budget.
Really?
Why would they need to do that before they lay people off?
They haven't even had a school committee meeting. I emailed them during the school day.
17.
That's, I'm not surprised at that, I mean, that's.
I'm not
usual-
surprised, but
That's
it's
the way.
a lot of people.
So what will happen now is the towns will get behind it and push back, and there'll be a little negotiation there, and most of those people will probably be hired.
Maybe, but like, we still,
That's
there's a ton
lousy, yeah,
that's not
that's
known,
lousy.
we don't know what this E and D, there's still no E and D figure, I mean,
They haven't given any indication of when they're gonna, they've not set a timeline for themselves.
So this is the timeline that I have most recently.
That's the one that ends up,
When was that
end of
most
the month.
I think Thursday, they're having, that is bizarre. But
doing it before the budget.
before a school committee
I
meeting.
know, and while they had to do it before June 1st, if they're having a school committee meeting and about to finalize a budget, why would you not wait till after?
See,
Well, they set the school committee meeting to determine it, that was due on, the school committee for the 28th or 29th was so that they could meet the deadline of the 1st.
This is
But
probably
I don't understand how they could make that unilateral decision without,
having finalized.
So what I have from the superintendent is that they were hoping to present a budget on Thursday, May 28th.
Right.
And our next meeting after that, regular schedule will be Tuesday, June 2nd, which is too late to have our proposed date of the 13th. However, if we're still set on the 13th, we could meet on the 29th
I was just gonna say, when we
and
have,
sign the warrant.
yeah,
But now there's a lot up in the air.
So why would we choose, why not
So-
go to the end of the month?
We can go to the end of the month, Ken.
Just to give us all.
When we discussed this before you were on the board, we had just come up with the 13th as a good Saturday date. We don't need to stick to Saturdays, but
attendance does seem to be better with those meetings.
I can do it June 27th. I think also we discussed it before we had the town meeting, the annual town meeting,
We did.
and we thought that there may be a push to move some of the other items to that meeting. And so we wanted to go on the earlier side. If it's just the school budget, that's a simple, at the end of the day, it's a simple yes or no, and they'll give us the assessment and tell us what we owe. It's different than setting up our payroll and everything we need to do, setting up all the accounts for next fiscal year.
Which we still can, because we've already voted on.
We already voted on our own budget, so.
The other interesting thing about the layoffs is that that's also a strategy in terms of going to the 112 budget. That they're setting themselves up for the 112 budget, starting in July.
I think it's terrible timing if they were gonna have a meeting.
Yeah.
In time, and then the school committee could have decided whether or not they want to win. I will say, it's been somewhat discouraging at various meetings because some school committee members, select board members have been adamant that they just want to cap the increase no matter the consequences. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing the results of.
They just did.
I know that New Marble is on the 29th. I was talking to Mari today.
So they already have a date set.
She told me today that they're planning to do the 29th.
Monday. Interesting.
Well, theirs are, I think theirs were the 4th or something. They had one on Monday anyway. They're-
Oh,
So
to do it during the week.
we don't need to set the date at this meeting, but I think it'd be good, at least we can check in with the moderator and the town clerk about availability.
so are you thinking, or if not the 13th, the 20th or the 27th?
I personally am not available for the 20th,
Neither am I.
neither is Roger. So if we wanna do it on a Saturday, we either need to have a quick turnaround as soon as the school budget is approved in theory, and meet that Friday, and have a meeting on the 13th. We'll have to have Julio at the ready to post the warrants, cause it's sneaking in on the deadline. Or we can say, we'll just push it off to the 27th.
I'm okay with those.
I would be in favor of the 27th only because it just gives a lot of breathing room in terms of trying to figure out what's going on.
Let's do that.
Have to.
Tentatively. So tentatively, I think we'll say Saturday, the 27th at what, 9:30?
That's a normal time for those Saturday meetings, right? Is that 9:30?
Yeah.
So it's-
Okay. And I'm just gonna email the town clerk and the moderator
Good idea.
and make sure they're available.
And maybe the fire chief.
Fire chief. There, alright.
Might have to have a town meeting in the library.
Well, how many people are coming anyway?
Dude, that was part of that, was why I said it,
You never know.
I do think that we should keep open the idea of special town meetings on weekday evenings to some degree, because a lot of people don't wanna spend their
Saturday
beautiful
morning.
Saturday morning
I'm sick of that.
in the middle of summer at
It's hard to run.
a special town meeting. So, and one of the reasons we went to Saturday was to put it in the middle of the day because of COVID, because it was cold in the pavilion, and
Yeah,
that's not the case anymore, so we can do this one on Saturday, but don't rule out.
I don't have a problem with weekday, I'm just, in the end, it's all a question of which days are gonna be best in town.
So the other, and then along the same lines, I would like at some point this year to have a discussion about the town meeting itself. And when we have our town meeting. And I think it'd be much better to have a town meeting later in May rather than the very first part of May. It interferes with the paper coming out and everything. I mean, there's so many deadlines that it just doesn't, they don't mesh.
Except
I know, we'd have to do, yeah, this stuff we'd have to do.
Well,
Just a thought.
what, other than the Monterey News, what other downsides?
It's too cold.
So it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too moist.
It was too hot at this one, because we had to open the doors.
The school isn't ready on time.
Well, that is actually the one thing we run into, but look, they're not ready at the end of May, so the school causes grief.
Just for discussion later on.
Yes.
not now,
Yeah,
not now.
Okay. Follow-up from annual town meeting, I have a couple kind of logistical notes. The town clerk submitted the seasonal communities designation to the state.
Yep.
Okay, I got an email from Laura Mency saying that 2026 funding for seasonal communities has already been allocated and is not available. And I'm not sure if that's FY 26 or calendar year 26, because I thought we would still be
Yeah,
in the-
we're supposed to be
eligible.
there. We're supposed to be.
unless they're releasing their decisions in July, and then we're likely to. So don't rush to any conclusions, but we do need to look into that.
Okay.
So we're surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
We need to get to the bottom of that.
Well, it was only a 2-year thing, right? So it's 26 and 27, and then we didn't get the first year, so we were looking for the second year, and we don't know what comes after.
Yeah, and
the
I'm
second year,
assuming
So,
the 26 funds already having been allocated means the year that we're in,
right.
Right.
It's 26.
but I was just, that wasn't Laura's interpretation, so I do think that we need to
Okay.
make sure, and that's why I was kind of excited that you said Brett might be at this meeting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll come at the end since we're not like in a specific spot on the agenda, but he definitely said it was gonna be here, so.
I mean, if it was FY, it was 2026 and 2027, but they mean FY, right? It could be
Right.
that the
Well, I think that's
2026
exactly
was already,
No,
or it was
26 is
already.
already gone.
Right, that would be 2027 we were
Laura's
looking at,
just reading.
right. But
What-
it is confusing between calendar years and FY, so.
Where did you get that information?
I can tell you.
Mackenzie Bell from HLC.
What's HLC?
HLC is the, HLC is the Executive Office of
EOH.
Housing and Livable.
Ah, right.
So let's just follow up and
Yeah,
Over there
absolutely,
and
do
hope
that as soon
that-
as possible,
that's just,
because that's like the reason we did it.
yes. Any other follow-up from annual town meeting?
So the grants are FY.
Yeah, it says application periods for FY 27 are scheduled to open after July 1st, 2026.
And
The
that's-
awards anticipated in the fall.
All right, so that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Seasonal communities. Oh, CPA, there's a good amount of follow-up on, so we need to put the Community Preservation Act on the ballot.
So the clerk has said that she's looking into the possibility of putting it on the first ballot rather than the second ballot,
Meaning the
the preliminary, what is it called?
primary.
Primary. No, yeah, the first ballot.
Why?
Just because her feeling was that it fits on that ballot really nicely in terms of the turnout and everything else, and that it's not a huge situation that the full November ballot's gonna be
Lot.
a lot.
But I think that's a great reason for it to be on the November ballot, on the
More people.
real deal.
Right. I
Doesn't
think
the
you get
state
more
make those
participation.
ballots?
Hmm.
I thought the state
Yes,
did.
and that's why, so
We tell them what's on it.
we need to contact them by Friday, September 4th.
Because I just forwarded that to you earlier, the email from Donna. And I've also given this to the town clerk,
So,
because what I emailed needs, is what needs to go to the state.
so
So Donna didn't submit it, you're gonna submit it,
Town clerk does.
town clerk.
I feel like I'd like to see people voted in 2 years ago with the primary and the main ballot. I know that was presidential, but it still will give us some idea of relative participation in primary versus, because whichever one has the larger number of people voting, I think is the more appropriate.
yeah, I'm sure it's the real
The
deal.
election, me too.
The September 4th deadline is for the November ballot?
Probably.
That I don't
So-
Yes.
know.
Where's the primary?
That's what the note said, yes. It said, the September deadline was for the November ballot.
It must be
Yeah.
because the primary's in September, like, there's no way there'd be enough turnout.
Okay,
Any more?
that is what was on my mind. Another small note, kind of more related to the last agenda item. The lady who does cart Stephanie asked if we want it at our June meeting, and I said probably not, but I would double check with the board. What do you all think about CART? I mean, I think it's an important service. I think it's also very expensive, and there's a lot of driving time. And if we have a 15-minute meeting, I would just feel terrible that long driving. But it is to some degree an accessibility issue.
Yeah.
So that projector screen that has all the words up at the top. Yeah.
Outstanding.
So should we have that at our June meeting?
I don't think so.
Do we have any idea how many people are?
It's a vote up and down, right? It's just a vote up and down. There's not gonna be any conversation about the budget itself. We're trying to change the budget or anything else. We're receiving from the budget.
But there can be discussion on the budget.
On whether or not
But
they
there's no
want to approve it.
changes. Yeah.
No, you can't change it, but
The
you
only
can
thing that
approve
comes
it.
down to is up or down.
And if someone from the school comes and talks about what the budget represents in terms of
That would be good.
programs or cuts, we have to make sure we can understand them.
That's a good point.
And it could be right for a no vote as much as ever in the last
Yeah,
several
oh, yeah.
years. So, I just am putting that out there, and also it's
How much money is it?
a lot of money.
Like,
Roger, I
It's a
don't,
lot of $1,000 or
did you get the invoice from this?
I don't think I've gotten it yet. I'll check my email, so.
It is so, it
She
is
just
so
works.
well done. It is so well done. I mean, real people just comment on that all the time.
It's amazing to me the speed with which.
I don't
she-
understand how it does.
I don't either. And she puts things up there and I'm like, wait, no, and then it changes. I'm like,
Well, she works for court, so it's
Yeah,
gotta be
no, I know.
quick and it's gotta be right.
Like, yeah, she's so
Oh,
good.
that's last year's.
I think it.
Well, look at last
that
year's.
it's
last year's was,
inconceivable to me that anyone manages.
It was $1,300 last year.
And does it break down?
$170 per hour. 2-hour minimum. Projector setup at $135, so it's a 3-hour minimum. Last year was,
So
it was $525, so it's gonna be $1,200, $1,300.
So my feeling is that given the potential controversial nature of the whole thing, it would be nice. I think it's well worth the money.
I kind of feel that way too. I don't think we need it for a fall STM, but I do think we should do it for this.
I'll feel terrible if it's a 5-minute meeting.
Yeah.
Well,
Me too.
it should make $1,000.
Yeah,
It should be $1,000.
Well, it's a 3-hour at 170.
So it's $525 plus all the.
Can we play it by ear?
I was just gonna say.
Can we play it by
that.
ear
Yeah.
and see if there's real discussion amongst, not to be too political, I mean, I don't think an issue of accessibility should be a political issue, but if there's a sense that this is going to be a lot of discussion and a long town meeting, we invite her, and if there's really no indication that it's gonna be more than 5 or 10 minutes, we don't.
Well, I think the key is that if we could hold back on, letting her know the potential date and say that we're trying to figure out whether we're gonna need you or not, can you hold the date for us?
Yes, I can do that.
There we
If
go.
she can hold the date for us, then
And it's a
then I
Saturday,
agree with what
and
you
she
said.
may say, I have a wedding to go to,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, but I'll let her know the date and say that we will follow
We're
up.
trying to figure this
Okay.
out, yeah. But I agree with Susan, she's probably gonna be tickled either way. 3 hours for 5 minutes or
Yeah.
3 hours.
Moving on, we have Memorial Day events, so just as a public announcement, but also because it requires select board participation, on Monday, the 25th is Memorial Day, which the town of course observes, and there's the Veterans Memorial at 10:30 at Veterans Park in the corner of Horseshoe and 23. And it would be good if the select board could be there. That hasn't always happened, but it would be good if the select board could be there. And the parade starts marching at 23 in Sanesfield at 1 o'clock.
It's the
Monday.
25th, right?
Yeah, it's an early one. And we have the wreaths to place, and I just wanna make sure that you all both are gonna be there. Because otherwise we have other solutions for placing the wreaths.
So is the wreath at the 10:30 thing?
No, the wreaths are here. So that, this is the parade at one, if we've had years where there were not 3 members of the select board, so we found some children to help with that, but if you all are gonna be there, can you be there? Yeah. Susan?
That is a question. My daughter's moving on Saturday, and so I don't know whether I will be
Okay,
be expected to be aiding and abetting still on Monday.
yeah,
Normally Linda gets the.
Linda is gonna,
Okay, cause I haven't seen her about that. She stopped saying that.
yeah, I'm coordinating, picking up the reads from her.
But, so I think I can definitely do the park in the morning. I'm
Okay.
just not sure if the middle of the day is gonna work.
Well, what we can do, I know Mickey liked it the year that we did it. Maybe we can find kids in any case.
It'd be nice.
I like
There's
that
always
idea. Yeah,
kids doing it.
yeah, good idea.
And usually they only got 1 year, like, first grade or the kindergarten or something. And I know, because Tammy was called in an emergency to fill in for somebody. It's next year. Quick, dress to clean up.
Okay, so
It's nice.
that will be there, and if we see you, Susan, great, and if you're moving.
So the housing committee would like to, propose for the parade, we're gonna bring in a whole bunch of tiny houses
On wheels?
on wheels.
Yeah.
Bring them all down.
I've made a bunch of floats already.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Is the housing committee involved in the program?
Sounds like an interesting idea.
Sounds like fun though.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have kids in
I
the.
love
Affordable.
Yeah.
I love the tiny house on wheels idea.
Beat up on lawn tractor.
Yeah, that could be cool.
I'm sure I can find a tiny house on wheels to borrow.
On wheels.
Road in. Someone maybe chicken coop. Get 450 square feet in there.
Okay, moving on, we have the employee handbook.
Wait, a minute, did we talk about hot dogs and stuff? Is that gonna happen?
So Hume is going to be actually donating the hot dogs and rolls.
Outstanding.
Several things,
Uh-huh. So,
not just for.
thank you, Hume. We actually asked Hume if they wouldn't mind ordering through, and they said, we'll just donate them. So, Hume's donating and cooking and serving hot dogs, and Tom Sawyer will run up to BJ's or Worley's for the rest of the stuff.
And
Rest of the
that's,
stuff
where
would
is
be
it gonna be
more
at the
expensive for
pavilion?
you. We
Yeah,
have to get it in such a large bowl.
yeah,
So we were just like, it make more sense to do the hot dogs, and so like, we're like, we just do that instead.
Super.
Any questions about any of the Hume for the parade?
Our team met on Thursday, I think we're all about it.
We're doing the speaker, we're using your speaker.
I heard there's an all-in-one, I didn't know where. We call it all-in-one, it's like portable speaker.
Yeah, on the church steps,
Church steps, not at the pavilion.
not at the pavilion, but the hot dogs are at the pavilion.
Yes, I'll clarify the all-in-one.
We've been doing it for several years, but I know there's been a little bit of turnover of that. I used to work with Olivia, but is Olivia around?
She's not employed, she just had a baby and they're enjoying being parents.
But does her husband work at?
Her husband still works, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, but she's completely handed it all over. She's
Okay.
got her hands full,
yeah.
Yeah, literally.
literally.
Are you having the ice cream truck?
We've been doing popsicles, I think Tom Sawyer buys. From Worley's or wherever. They're a hit, they like disappear and then there's none left over. I'm hot and sweaty, and I say, where's the popsicle? And then there aren't even any. So the employee handbook,
We put it out, I put it out to managers,
Okay.
everyone, to get anything back, to get any feedback. I haven't had any feedback yet, except for our, Officer Brown, who commented, she saw it and commented, we had a conversation about the holidays and all that.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff, so I haven't heard anything back yet from anyone else
Could you send me a copy?
And the deadline that they were given was the 30th, right? So-
Yes.
the 30th of May.
Yep.
And then we're hoping to approve it in June to be effective July 1st.
Great.
Mickey,
So there's two questions from the library. Do you want to hear them?
Sure.
Sure,
Okay.
I can't promise we'll give you an answer tonight, but
No,
we
that's
can hear them.
fine. That's fine. I like that. So is the official name really the employee manual for the town of Monterey? Because that goes into the director's contract like 3 times. So I just think that Monterey employee manual is like
Well, I think you should say town of Monterey.
town of Monterey.
Employee manual.
Because it's not, it doesn't apply to everyone in Monterey, just employees of the town.
Might have to say Monterey Max, so, people don't think we're Monterey California.
So what did we decide
I
on?
think I'll-
Town of Monterey employee manual?
Works for me.
Does that work for you, Ken? Good testament.
I'll say that.
Yeah, that was mine, because I didn't know what it was gonna be, and then working on that. Mark had some questions on bereavement leave. So, it says 3 days. And so like if somebody works just like 2 days in a week, the 3 days are, now is this, if bereavement is also available to part-time employees? That should be my first question. Which I really think it should be, because it should be part of their, if it's not part of everybody else's normal time off, it seems like.
The problem I would have is I think the idea is that, at least to me, the concept is that they're consecutive.
No, but I mean, that's it, it would, wait, what I'm saying is, suppose somebody works Tuesday and Thursday, and they took
The week,
the
right?
3 days off in that week. Yes, they would have to be consecutive.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. The problem would come is if somebody wanted to take, they work once a week. It wouldn't, I don't think it's in the spirit to get the 3 consecutive days off that they would work, which would be, say, Tuesday.
Right, not like that, no, like.
So if you have a suggestion for how that could be worded, that
Okay.
would be clear, I think I'd be okay with it. But I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how you would word that without like 2 paragraphs for clarity.
Yeah,
and
I'll-
fill it with
Say within a 1-week period or something,
Yeah.
within a 7-week period.
consecutive work days within a 1-week period, but
Yes, it has, yeah, and I, yes, because I was thinking that.
so I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm just trying to pick something that makes sense.
No, I understand. Right, okay. And then this was something that I was thinking about when I was just, because I had made these notes that I talked to Mark last night. So if somebody is going to sit shivra, if I said pronounce it right, which is 7 days after the burial, because I looked that up. So other than the 3 days, it's part of their regular paid time off. Okay, that was just something that came to my mind as I was writing this. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay, that was it. And I'll put some words together, because I'd like, remember, I'm gonna sit down with you and go over some of the.
Make it a pride to do that.
If you're gonna do it, please do it soon.
Yes, I know.
Talk after the meeting, maybe we can set up for the concert. Still have to dig out, you can only go back at midnight last night and.
You don't even know what time, what day it is, or where you are. No,
I can tell from the food, yeah.
I must say that one of the reasons that I decided to do this was because the employee handbook is all done.
Thanks.
That would be the last thing. You know, you did a good job, it's great, I love it.
So on that particular issue of bereavement, is it squared away?
I think so.
And we're waiting till the 30th for any comments, and then June will finalize. Town administrator updates.
I did hear some information back about the Affordable Housing Trust and how to report. I guess we'll send that along to you, where, it's probably best if we fill out the document, actually the select board sign the document, and then we'll list the members, that the members of the Affordable Housing Trust can sign at that point. That gets submitted to the registry for $255.
But doesn't it only get submitted if there's a piece of property actually in?
You don't have to. No,
Okay.
I spoke to them, and I spoke to the registry, and they also sent along some information that the idea is that if we submit the document signed by the select board, listing at that time the members of the Affordable Housing Trust, that we get a book and page for that specific document. Moving forward, if any piece of property is donated to the town, to the Affordable Housing Trust, then when the deed is created, it references, the town council who's ever helping us put that deed together. It references the book and page for the Affordable Housing Trust. That in itself is $155 to record one of those, which unfortunately they don't take cash or check, so we got to figure out how to get them cash or check. Sandusfield Road is,
Oh, hold on a second, I had a question, I know you're moving to the next thing. Have you determined who's going to be on the trust?
I was
There's
just
2
gonna
or
say,
3
we
more
have to-
members.
So great question, John. When we were discussing adopting the Affordable Housing Trust, we had discussed taking the current members of the Housing Committee and making them some of the members of the Affordable Housing Trust. But that, in and of itself, even if we follow through with that, doesn't fully determine the membership, right?
So
Because
let's look at the housing trust, let's look at the function of the housing trust. And in some towns, the housing trust is what we're currently doing with the subcommittee that we have on housing. If we look at the housing trust as a addition to the select board and the housing committee, and would meet not every month, but on an irregular basis or once every quarter or something like that. And then look at who best fits in that, on that committee, in terms of handling money, handling all the stuff that goes on. So I think we need to take some time to really determine that, I guess is what I'm saying.
And I seem to recall there's some language in the
Yeah,
paperwork that stipulates,
it says who it is, basically.
yeah,
It
some of
says
the members.
one member of the select board, one,
But there are, I mean, you could also add additional people. And I just want to make sure that we cover ourselves with people that are really gonna do the work.
but doesn't it say in there that the housing committee?
So I'll read the 3.1 and 3.2 and 3.3. And then there's other things about removing and resigning, but 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3 really get to the heart of it. Establishment, there shall be a board of trustees of the Monterey Affordable Housing Trust Fund consisting of 9 trustees appointed by the select board. The trustees shall comprise 1 member of the select board, 6 members that are residents in the town of Monterey, and 2 members with background, interest, and or experience relevant to the trust.
So this is where we had the issue with Donna, and if you remember back on the original, on going forward with this, that there's some wording in the state stuff that says it a little differently, but she agreed with what we were doing, and she got permission, I guess, to do that.
Trustees shall serve for a term of 2 years and may be reappointed at the discretion of the select board, provided that 5 of the 9 appointments initially made after the adoption of the article shall be for a term of 1 year, so that it's staggered, so that as nearly an equal number of trustees' terms as possible shall expire each year. The 5, there's a total of 9, 5 and 4 staggered. So 1 is definitely a select board member. And then the other 8, there's a decent amount of discretion, and maybe we pull from the bench of the existing housing committee for a decent amount of those 6. And the other 2, I think, are potentially very interesting, and maybe it's worth looking out into the broader community potentially for people that are professionals in the field.
or have some type of substantive relevant experience, yeah.
And not that there aren't a lot of people in Monterey with a lot of experience, and that's great, but maybe if we'd be so lucky as to get someone who already does this same work and has done it in a neighboring town like Great Barrington, it's sometimes very valuable to have someone who's just done it. And they're not reinventing the wheel, and I think because we're allowed those out-of-town people, it's maybe worth exploring.
Yeah, I think, as far as the housing committee, I think that we want to be as broad as possible and I think that's positive.
Like Patrick White, for instance.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Seems like he keeps pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing out a name out there.
If you think
Someone
of
who's
people, I
like-
think if anyone thinks of people, not that we can guarantee them a seat, but you can feel them out and say.
It might be worth asking Patrick White, not only for anyone to serve, but if he can think of anyone who he thinks would be a valuable person to have and why. Like he may be connected, he's pretty connected and he may have some good suggestions. He may not.
Mhm.
I think if it's gonna be someone from out of town, I would like to see someone who's basically done this work as a job
Uh-huh.
and is really familiar with what it takes.
I think a big part of why the out-of-town language is in there is so that Ben could participate. Because Ben isn't a registered voter.
But I think it's an opportunity to get people that have.
Oh, absolutely, I'm
She's just saying that was what I was thinking
That was the
when we were
point
talking
of
with
it. And I
Donna.
think we all did think we were going to be in the trust.
You thought that everyone would be residents of the town?
No, I thought everyone in the housing committee would be on the housing
We
trust.
thought they would be one
the
and the
trustees.
same, but since that time, there's been some different discussions.
The
So I think
housing committee plus
Yeah.
2 more members or
Yeah.
something like that.
How many people are currently on the committee though?
So,
7.
Which would leave only one other member, because there'd be a select board member, the full slate of the housing
And
committee.
then one.
I don't
And you're
even know what
staying
we
on?
do with someone who's on both.
And you're staying on? No?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't decided.
I mean, if
Don't put me
you were
on
on, if you were this select board member that was on the trust, then you're kind of already wearing the hat.
But who's gonna keep them in check?
Nikki Jervis.
When I had read that whole,
Should be great, that's a good idea, Justin. Outstanding.
Nice. I had thought that the select board member shouldn't be on the same rotation as the others, therefore you would have 8 people turning over 2 years, so it's an even number, not having 5 and 4. And the select board would be according to his.
No, we have to do 5 and 4.
What do you have to do?
And they
Right?
have to
Because
be
it says in the
2-year
trust.
terms, and they have to be 2-year terms.
You can't change
They
that.
have to be 2-year terms in the trust.
Well, you could be, all right.
We can go
You
back to
have
town
it
meeting.
with the
They-
select
Suppose
board.
somebody, the select board member is on there and it's his third.
Well, I'll say one
Like
thing.
we had this guy, Justin, whatever his name is, it goes like Makuk on my phone. Cool. So, I mean, suppose he who was in his final term as a select board member was the member on the trust.
Sure.
Yeah, it would make sense to appoint me
Yeah.
if I have 1 year left on my term.
Absolutely.
So the select board will have to use some common sense,
Okay.
which is a novel
Oh.
idea.
Really, I mean,
No, look, it happened on the Lombardo Park Committee. Frank volunteered to do that, but I don't think Susan and I were chomping at the bit to be on there, and Frank's been an asset to that committee. And now he's off the select board. But we'll have to be careful with the housing committee where
yes, it says.
you should try to appoint someone that has 2 years left on their term.
But we did talk about if they would be replaced if they were up with their term or something like that. That was part of like what we thought might happen. If someone only had a year left, we could
Yeah, that might have been
Have
my
someone
question,
fill
actually.
their
We,
term.
we have a housing meeting next week. And I think what I'd like to suggest is that we come in to you guys with a proposal the following week of what we're thinking.
Of members.
Clearly, and then we go from there.
It says right here, if the select board trustee resigns or completes his or her term and does not continue as a select board member, the select board will appoint another select board
Right.
member as their successor.
Pretty straightforward.
So it's all taken care of. Okay, so this will be a continuing discussion.
Are you okay with that?
What's that?
A continuing discussion, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I think we should all take some time to think between the housing committee and the select board what a good trust looks like.
That's what I wanna do.
So our OPEB trust fund has one trustee, and it's the treasurer, who lives on the other end of the state, just in case people are leery of out of town people being involved in a trust related to Monterey. That OPEB trust is overseen by one person.
So again, that is a suggestion for membership, not necessarily a specific requirement. So that, I mean, and again, we were looking at it in terms of what we had discovered with a member of our committee and how valuable that member of the committee was to the committee and housing, so. But we can,
Well, there's reasons why we've done things the way we've done them, and then there's also we're here where we are now, we know what we know now, and we wanna make the best possible chance for success. And I just know sometimes when dealing with this bureaucracy and the state, there's nothing like having experience and just having done it. So the Historic District Study Committee, which was started shortly before I got on the select board, and is still hard at work to do one thing basically, which is the National Register of Historic District in the center of town, which by its nature takes years by design. But they made very many good efforts for several years, and I went to many of the meetings that didn't get very far until they involved a consultant. You pay money because they know how to make the application and they know what to do, so. And I feel like this is a situation somewhat similar to that, where maybe Brett or someone from BRPC
So I was thinking too.
would be a trustee.
absolutely, yeah.
Because they grease the wheels of momentum.
And there's also, there are a number of people who get the name. I can probably look it up, but they have been deeply involved in a number of the projects in Pittsfield that were for affordable housing. They're obviously, those projects are somewhat larger than what we'd be doing, but this is someone who knows the bureaucracy intimately. Whether she would be willing, she was running that meeting that we went to. It's an affordability, housing affordability, I can look up her name, but whether she'd be willing to because of the amount of her involvement, but I don't know how big a commitment it is.
Well, so I don't see it as a huge commitment to start with. And this is something that could evolve
Right.
into a huge commitment. But I'd also like to start, if we're going that route, maybe start with some of the local towns to see, because there's a number of trusts set up in local towns, that maybe there is somebody on a local trust in our local town that could come and be part of that, similar to what you.
You know, could give us some, like, what worked for us.
Yeah.
But it seems like the general work of the housing committee will, like, all the work will be happening through the housing
That's
committee and
right.
stuff like that, and then the trust just needs to deal with the, you know, the
Like an
documents and
auxiliary.
the.
But having somebody who knows.
No, absolutely.
The documents might not be a terrible
Well,
thing.
the other way. to
Right,
do it-
I'm just saying,
professionally,
they would only
didn't
have
do
to
it
be
just
in
once.
this role, they wouldn't have to be in the nitty gritty of all the
Right.
work that we're doing.
And the way we're thinking of it is that it's maybe meet only 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, right.
So we make it-
At one point, we had thought it was going to supersede and replace.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And that's not the current thinking.
I mean, it could. But if we're looking for like experts who might not have a lot of time, maybe we shouldn't.
Okay,
Okay, moving on, were there any other town
I just had some quick ones, Sandusky Road update, it's still ongoing, it's a week behind or so, but they're still moving along. Hopefully, things can get done, they've had some issues internally with some of their employees, especially supervising. But we have, Alan Havel, superintendent of the highways, is over there keeping an eye on that and making sure they're moving along.
so I have one suggestion on this whole project. I went over to the Southfield store this morning to have breakfast. And I followed a car on New Marlboro Road, it was following the detour. And I get down to across the bridge. And at the end of New Marlboro Road there, to turn the left there, but there's no sign there that says turn left. You can go either to the right, going up, what was it?
Walls.
No, not Walsall, no, not that far.
New
at
Marlboro
the
Road.
bridge, At the bridge,
Oh, Harmon.
Harmon Road. So you can either go straight up Harmon Road, so that's what they did, and then they stopped because there's a sign about 100 yards or 10, 20 yards up that says dead end.
Right.
So they just stopped there, so I
So there's no
stopped.
detour sign?
That's not,
I get
so I stopped and I said, can I help you? You know, and they said, well, we're trying to follow the detour, but we lost it. So,
So we need a detour sign at Harmon Road.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, just a little arrow, point in the right direction.
I'll talk to Alan about that. Also, this coming weekend.
Before we move on,
Go ahead.
so just so Susan and Ken, you're both aware, this is through a grant. The town of Monterey needs to write the checks to the contractors, assuming all of the work is completed to satisfaction by June 30th, which is not very far away.
Wow.
And then reimbursements need to be submitted by July 15th.
And the original scope was 6 weeks, right? And,
Yes.
uh,
Well, the original scope was 4 to 6 weeks.
yeah, and
So-
who was it who said that if they weren't getting paid, if they went fast?
Well, they won't get paid if they go past, because we don't have any money. We don't have a dime for this project. It's entirely grant funded.
And it has to be paid out by then.
So
They understand this?
Yeah.
I emailed them this morning, and I also then emailed the accountant and treasurer and looped you into it, because we need to have the grant accounts for payment and reimbursement set up, so that when the project's completed, I mean, I don't know what our warrant schedule is like. Will we need to, I mean, I assume if the check is dated June 30th and in the mail, it's fine. I don't know what the warrant.
We have, our last warrant is, like that last Monday. But they'll do partial warrants, after that.
So we may be in the whole, how do you do a holdback then? You would hold-
They're like an encumbrance,
Yeah.
so we won't need to do
We
that
don't need to do an encumbrance with that because of the way that the accounting works.
as long as the project's done by June 30th.
Well, that's the question. I mean, what happens if the project is almost?
So that is one thing I think should somewhat be explored, is what happens if the project goes beyond, and to let the contractors know, because maybe it will light a fire under them, which I tried to do.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with Matt again. talk to
I
him.
assume, there's an extent, like this happens, right? However, we already are on a year-long extension.
Yes.
And I just want to know what happens if it goes over.
Remind me why the extension for,
Because we got, held up by a plant.
okay then.
There was a plant that was nearby that was endangered or a special species plant or something like that, that took about 4 or 5 weeks to get through. So that pushed everything off, and then there was a delay, and also in the construction of the head walls and all sorts of pieces that were gonna be delayed and put it past last year's time. And so it was decided to do it then, so.
This may actually be done in 6 weeks. Wow.
Possible.
Well, we have a pressure.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else for the town administrator, I have a couple of items of unanticipated.
Did you want me to call Brett? I have his office number, I don't have his cell phone.
Yeah, I
Well,
only
what
have
were you
that,
talking
so-
about?
I mean, I could tell you
Yeah,
what he
why
was
don't-
coming for, and then
Jen can explain what we're
Okay.
proposing to us, because it's,
So we had started, we got an RFP, as you know, for the Fox Hill Road property, and so we started like the survey, stuff like that. As we were doing that, Brett emailed us and said, we'd like to offer a one-stop grant, which is basically they do everything. They put together site-specific testing. Like we basically were like starting like 20% of it or something, and then he would do an entire, it's a pre-development application for site analysis with water sewer connection, engineering, designing, architectural design for housing options and stuff like that, and consultation to get the work done. And the goal is to create a pre-development packet for potential developers to attract them to responding to an RFP. And then he wants to apply for this grant by June 3rd. And basically, it's between $100,000 and $150,000 if they just take care of everything.
so the difference is between what we were doing, is we were starting the process with an RFP, asking for a certain amount. The engineering companies came back to us and they gave us the amount that we were asking for, plus the other things necessary to do the whole project, which ended up being in the $70,000 to $90,000 range. We originally looked at it as around a $30,000 item, but then we realized that there's a lot more to it. And then Brett
Yeah,
came
he
in.
just happened
So
to
who's
be
gonna
like,
write the grant?
Brett,
Who's going to administer the grant?
Brett,
This is through them,
What's
this
the
is all the
town,
way through
what's the
BRPC.
town's match?
50%.
No.
No match, no match at all.
There's no match. He does mention in his email that like the applications are looked favorably upon with a match, but when I spoke to him about how much money we were looking to pay for our own RFP, he was, because I was trying to see if we could put the work we've already done into it, but since it's one stop, we can't. He's like, well, you would probably do better taking that money on the back end when it's all done and have it be like part of the donation of the construction of the project. So he didn't in any way indicate that we would be, since I said we have money or something like that, he didn't in any way indicate that it would be a match like that.
Is it a reimbursement grant?
It is, what?
They're gonna cover they're gonna cover it all. They're gonna be responsible for it. It's not
No,
gonna
I
be
think
money.
we do pay it and we would pay the
Oh, really?
contractor, right?
I don't think so.
Which one was it?
I can find out. That's why we're,
Pay for information? It
Absolutely.
sounds like a good idea. It
Yeah.
sounds too good to be true.
well, that's why we thought Brett was coming tonight to talk about it. because it-
Right, so I scheduled him to come tonight and tell you all about it, and I'm sorry, I would have been a lot more prepared had I
Well,
known
and
that
this
was
is,
his
it comes back to the thing that we're dealing with Sandusfield Road right now. It's free from the state, but it's a reimbursement grant.
Okay, I don't know, I'm not sure of that.
So we need to cut the checks.
Yeah.
And then for a couple of weeks, we're $300,000 or $400,000 in the
So we
hole.
were looking at, for the initial part of the project, we were looking for the city program, the one we got for Deckard. The monies that were the 100,000.
CDBG.
CDBG, yeah. We were thinking, that's money that we could use for this, but,
What did we say? We have 100,000 in
a little
CDBG?
more, yeah, 110 something.
And once in a while, we get a check in the mail.
Yeah.
Just got one for the past 4 months.
Alright, so I just forwarded his email, his
So we will
initial
make
email
sure
to
you
you.
all have all the information on it.
Yeah, forward all the emails.
He's already been to a couple
But
of
it
other
sounds good.
towns.
Do they need a letter of support from the select board?
No, we don't need you at all, we wanted to present it to you and keep it in the loop.
Don't put it in there. Talk about
I
that.
know, I have the worst
That's in
grants
our
all
meeting.
That's why, yeah.
No, we don't.
It's one of these, it's a really good deal for everyone.
And, BRPC often does it where they're applying for a grant.
Yeah.
Even if the
Well, they
grant,
get a percentage of it, and that's
Yeah,
the way they,
but
that's the way they
that's what
stay in
they-
business,
yeah.
yeah. So it's good, good all around,
It
win-win.
just seemed to be really good timing with a really good opportunity and I feel like even though like we're starting later on because, we're dropping what we've already done, I feel like with everything in one packet, I feel like the administrative stuff and like timeline will be probably a quicker timeline.
And the housing committee will work with them, the housing
Yeah.
committee sees being very much a part of this whole process. So
What will we do with the seasonal communities grant money? If we get it.
next phase.
We have so many ideas.
We'll figure out a use for that, believe me. We'll figure out a
I
use.
think
for it.
there's more ideas than there is
Yeah.
money to.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, the different resources that we're able to pull from, but it's also, we still need, a lot of money for a lot of opportunities.
All right.
Have no fear, that if the money comes in, we'll figure out a way to use it.
So I will get you more information and ask for your blessing.
We've had issues over the years, to
Okay.
be quite frank. This sounds like a great opportunity, but we're told park grant, we're gonna get money to redo Bidwell Park. And then Nikki reads the fine print and we couldn't ever change the library ever again in any way.
Unless it was for this park. You couldn't do anything that had to do with library. If it was a park thing, you could do something, but you couldn't do
You
anything.
couldn't change the building in perpetuity.
Right.
So,
Or add something to the grounds that was library, not park.
and then we've had grants, you do this grant, but you don't get reimbursed for this grant until you do the next grant.
So we
So
will,
I just wanna
we will
make
have it all laid out clearly, black and white.
We don't
signed off.
trust the expectations.
And maybe we'll have town council review it as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
So we gotta protect the town.
Yeah. No
Thank you.
question.
So, under unanticipated business, I just wanted to bring up, we posted, does anyone wanna be on the conservation commission, and we got a response.
Oh, delightful.
Shannon, Amanon. So. In the past, I'll communicate with David and Don, but they have a meeting this Thursday. So in the past, people have gone to the meeting, that's the typical way, it hasn't always been done like that. And then if she's interested after going to a meeting and talking to the chairs, then we can appoint her to the conservation commission, have a full slate. Just put it on your radar.
Yeah.
Lombardo Park, there's been some movement, some discussions on. I didn't go to the meeting at 4:30 today. Did you go to the meeting at 4:30?
I went to the meeting at 12 o'clock.
So, do you wanna give us any updates?
Now, the meeting
It
was.
started at 12 and finished.
No, the meeting was with Jim and Tom at the park. We did a walk through the whole park and looking at everything.
With the health agent, Jim?
Yeah, and the one thing that came out of it was that this is gonna be a costly situation. We're gonna be spending some big bucks on this because, the amount of work that's necessary over there between the foundations, the possibility of oil tanks that are buried, the electrical, there's a range and wells, there's a
So-
range of issues.
I saw an email from the health agent, Jim,
Mhm.
saying all these things, this bullet point list of things that we need to do, but it didn't seem very expensive. Because most of it was crushing and filling in
So
place
Jim,
and burying.
yeah, there was
So
no,
most of the things that I saw on the list were like, oh, if there's a septic tank, take an excavator, push it down in the septic tank and we'll have to get some fill.
yeah, so
Crushing
when
fill.
we were talking over there, Jim seemed to take a very, so both Tom and I had problems with Jim's kind of cavalier idea of being able to do all this stuff with tanks that are 10 feet deep in the thing, and whether we're gonna use our own crew to do that, are we gonna use the highway crew to do that?
Potentially, so we'll have to talk with Alan and coordinate, they have a little excavator, so we might need to rent a bigger excavator. But renting an excavator is a lot cheaper than,
So the idea that Tom and I are talking about is that we would like to see this under a grant program of some sort, so that.
Well,
we
there's a
actually
part
get
of
money.
grant.
So we will- I mean, that's it.
so I don't know what the cycle is for the park grant. And I do think there's significant on that. But also, I don't know, sometimes I don't know how much of that, whether cavalier or not, how much of that's really necessary work to do. If there's a water line running underground and we're not using it anymore, but it's just,
These are all, these are all open.
I've walked the property,
Yeah.
but like Jim, the health agent was saying with the septic tanks, we should take a big excavator and crush them down.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
What's wrong with just?
What's
leaving
wrong
it
with
there?
just
That's
leaving
fine,
them?
that's fine. No, I have no problem with that. I'm saying that
What we're
that,
saying is is it possible that some of the things he's listed aren't actually
we left there,
necessary to do?
thinking that this is a little more than what we think
Yeah.
is possible for the town to do on its own. And then we need to get our town manager over there to take a look at it
Mhm.
and see what he says.
That would be good.
Yeah.
And Alan should definitely make his way over there. Because he knows the capacities of his employees and the equipment that they have. And we can rent equipment. But I think what Susan and I are getting at is it's kind of a two-step process. The first question is what actually needs to be done? Because we've been told about some things that supposedly need to be done. Do they really need to be done? And then the second step is you've determined what needs to be done, how do you do it, and how much does it cost, and who's doing it. But the first step is if there's utilities that are no longer going to need to be used, like a septic, like a well, like a this or that, to what degree can they just be left there defunct?
So we have to find that out.
Because a buried oil tank has the capacity to cause problems, right?
No, they have
For
to be
sure.
removed. Yeah.
But.
Well, they
it's
can
not-
be filled with sand, it depends, but they do need remediation.
They do need remediation, and my concern would be the proximity to the water.
So we thought maybe we could tie on to the cemetery's crew up there underground
Ground penetrating
radar
radar.
and do a little.
If there's any bodies under there, then it will get really
Yeah.
interesting.
So the park
They're
grant application deadline is July 9th.
So if we're ready to apply for the park grant for this cycle, I think that's an awesome, excellent opportunity.
Yeah. Good.
Um,
But there's also, I mean, there's the whole, you know about the right of way situation.
yes,
and the road situation for reaching her property. in-
But what I've seen from town council on the right of way for the abutter is that if she wants to move the right of way, it's really at her own cost.
She may not wanna move it. So I mean, we have to have a talk with her, obviously, but.
No, she wants to move it. I don't know if she wants to move it at the cost of the cost.
No, she sees it, I think she's.
But town council said that it's really not our prerogative. The one place that it could come into kind of our interrelated with what the town's doing is if we're gonna put in a parking lot, hopefully, one way or another. And we could weigh how she's gonna get to her house based on where we put the parking lot, right?
Yeah,
So,
lots of issues with that, but yeah, you're right. How you keep people out at night and stuff like that. He's driving through. I mean, it's just, we need, there's a whole lot of pieces of this puzzle that are floating around. And we need, and Tom and I just talked, we need to pull it all together and figure this out, because we're talking about different things and ways about going about it. And yet, we have to hone in on what's going on. I didn't realize there was a park grant that's coming up in July, so.
And it's important, like, which, as you pointed out, does have a match, so.
yes, and so the maximum grant award amount is $425,000.
Perfect, that's very perfect.
The
For
reimbursement
the Ferris wheel.
rate is 52 to 70%.
Okay, so is it your understanding that the Parks Commission is writing the grant?
No, we're not. There's no current plans to write a grant, and
They know about it though.
They've heard about it. Yeah,
We've
as far as
talked about it.
We've talked
And
about
I think also, we'll look into it, I'm not sure that this is the year, maybe we do the environmental remediation, and maybe we do some stuff in-house to get the site ready, and maybe next year is the year that we really apply for a park grant. Maybe it gives the abutter time to figure out what she wants to do regarding her easement,
Has anybody talked to the abutter?
several times, many people.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that we've come up with a plan per se, but
it.
there's
She was
been
at- she was
good
actually
amount
here
of
today.
conversation.
What'd you say?
She was here today, the abutter.
To say what?
I don't know, but she was at the meeting today.
Oh, at the meeting, yeah, sorry.
I was up in Lenox at the, on Under Mountain Road, Parsons Marsh.
Parsons Marsh.
Parsons Marsh.
You should go up there, it's
That's good.
a great little
Yeah.
trail
Oh,
and
okay.
boardwalk. But there's also down by Tanglewood, something Meadows, Schooled Meadows.
It's really nice going in.
But as frustrating as this project is, and it's
It's
frustrating,
a great piece of property.
Yeah, it really is.
go on a walk on
Absolutely
Parsons
wonderful, yeah.
Marsh and think about, we
No,
can do
what could
something
happen there?
beautiful.
Yeah, no.
Where is Parsons Marsh?
It's on Under Mountain Road, have you ever been to Home
Under
Farm?
Mountains and Lennox.
Under Mountain
Where's
Farm?
Stoneover
Yeah,
is?
yeah,
Stoneover, yeah, between Stoneover and Under Mountain Farm,
okay.
Parsons Marsh,
I've never
it's
been.
beautiful.
No,
I
Tom
took the
and
kid.
I was sitting down on the fence to leave, and we were just talking, and we just looked around and said, this is well worth
When
whatever.
it's
we
not
put
a
there."
headache.
Yeah, this is a beautiful piece of property.
Yeah, it really is.
But the Ferris wheel has to go in.
So my last thing is special article carry forwards. So
Oh, you'll have to work on it.
not maybe the next meeting, but in the past couple of years, Ken, we've been actually approving all the special article carry forwards at the select board level.
Oh,
Because what we were finding was they're very insightful as to projects, capital purchases, and where they're at. And sometimes we were carrying forward
Yeah.
items year after year when it's a project that got approved 10 years ago. Or it's a reminder of, we need to do that project.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So-
That's a great idea.
We'll have to come up with those.
Could I ask one question in terms of the town meeting? There were a lot of interesting suggestions made when we were talking about the fire department. And one of the ones was on the contracts with the upcoming firemen. Have you guys reviewed the contracts?
No, I think that's definitely something we need to.
Yeah, so I was gonna wonder if Roger could have that available for us to take a look at for either the next meeting or You can add it
We don't actually.
before they hire them.
We don't actually have contracts for them.
We don't have contracts for them, but I think it's something we might wanna do.
I'm talking about the 3 that we hired this year.
They were hired at will, there were no contracts for them.
Well, they haven't been hired yet.
No, the three coming up for July
Yes,
1?
yeah.
Well, we don't have.
Because there was some
But I
interest,
think that if we're gonna have contracts for the new people, we probably should have contracts.
but we don't have contracts for them.
I think we would, it's good to have a conversation about that, because normally our contracts are for management,
Mhm.
not for frontline employees, so we don't have a contract right now for the fire chief or the deputy fire chief,
Okay.
or any captain that may be.
Which
I
might
don't
be
know.
something we wanna
It
do.
should work.
And we
Absolutely.
did talk about it, and just to put this in context, our contracted employees, as I understand, it, are the town administrator, the police chief, and
The DO. And the library.
the highway superintendent does not have a contract.
It's not. You'd probably like one.
Really? I thought we did.
The library board has one with the library director,
Right.
as I understand that. And then as far as select board and actual employees of the town administrator and police chief.
Okay.
And everyone else is at will. And it's come up over the years about the highway superintendent having a contract.
I'm most concerned about the fire department contracts, because the 3 that we're hiring, the new ones that we're hiring, there was some interesting discussion at the meeting about training and how that relates to them staying on and not staying on and all of that, and how that can be rolled into a contract.
So what we have done, and I spoke to a little bit at town meeting, is in the highway department, when we send someone for their CDL, which, have we sent anyone yet for
Not
CDL?
recently, no, not since.
The
we
one
made
candidate we were gonna
Not
send
to
for their
come up with a
CDL,
policy.
the one candidate we were gonna send for their CDL left because of the winter. But it's, we sign it, they sign it, or maybe they just sign it, and it says the terms of sending them for training.
And this is I think it's a conversation at the very least very worth having, particularly because it's a slightly, with the CDL, the cost was for the training itself. In the case of.
Not entirely. It's some was wages, some was training
Someone's
time,
wages and.
if you're CDL,
Okay.
but I forget
Because-
how we handled that.
Right, because with the fire department, they're talking about 2, depending on, like, they may hire someone that has the training already, right? But the 2 types of training, one would be firefighter 1, 2, which the training itself is free, but we would be paying wages while they're doing it. And the second would be EMT, which you do have to pay for the training. So we need to come up with a way of handling both those different situations, because there may be somewhere it's one or somewhere it's the other, or even somebody.
Yeah, I have a friend who is retired from the Cambridge Fire Department, and I was talking to him about this about a month ago. One of the issues that he brought up to me at that time was the issue of keeping them on. That his experience has always been that those who want to fight fires, who want to be involved in firefighting, are like the action of the firefighting situation. And he asked me, how many fires a year do we attend? And I said, probably 2 or 3, maybe 4.
There were at least 20 last year.
Of actual fires?
Yes,
Oh, okay, well, 20.
not all in Monterey,
Yeah.
but because of
But the excitement level in terms of being in a house that's not going out all the time, it really affects those who want the action. And that they would probably leave. And if we're training them, and they have their training, there's
They have the
openings in
opportunity.
Westfield, Springfield, Pittsfield for them, so. I think it's just a matter of making sure that we cover our bases and making sure that we
No
do something.
argument for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's an important discussion to have.
Yeah.
For sure.
It might be worth looking at the policy we came up with for CDL, because we spent time on, and it's a very different in a lot of ways,
But
but
it's also got
some
some
things are
similarities.
about the town of
Pretty
Monterey.
similar to.
I have one item when you're done. Are you done?
Yep.
Okay, so the aggregation project for recyclables.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wait a minute, can I interrupt for one moment? Camp Hume,
Yes.
has Camp Hume looked at the possibility of maybe staff from Camp Hume being involved in our fire department?
They have one.
There are some who are doing it. I actually live in Tyringham. I'm on
Okay.
the volunteer fire department there.
Okay,
But I know
Nico.
that there are some.
there are some, okay,
Miko was really the
Oh,
one I
good.
remember
Okay.
the last
okay,
5
good,
years.
There's others, as we cycle in and as we add more employees that I think would be interested.
super,
Yeah, for sure.
okay, good. Thank you, sorry, Susan.
Not at all. Okay, so as I think I spoke to you about this as well,
Mhm.
but, so the original project looks like it's fallen through. The site we found in Lee, the person that owns it had some reservations, so that site fell through. Pardon?
Can you declassify that?
Probably I could, but I'd have to remember the person's name, which I can't.
But is it a notable site?
It is, I mean, I can show it to you on a map.
Yeah.
Like, it's right next to where the boom stopped, it's like the next property over from the boom side.
Okay, I know where that is.
We spoke with Rob from Roger Trucking and came up with a bunch of ideas, but at the end of the day, when they submitted questions about the SMRP grant, the Sustainable Materials Recovery Program grant, which is the grant we're gonna use to underwrite it, delightfully, Boston responded, the message was that the SMRP's grant goals are to increase recycling tonnage or types of materials recycled, while reducing recycling-related municipal hauling costs will alleviate municipal financial pressure and could ensure recycled material is processed by the Springfield MRF or other trusted facilities. It's unlikely that an aggregation site would increase total diverted recycling tonnage. So basically, since it won't increase tonnage, they're not interested in helping to fund it. So that was rather
That was disappointing.
disappointing. We pretty much at this point, so the good news is BRPC is still interested in trying to become involved by acting as an agent to try to bring the towns together to come up with cooperative solutions. Because I think this problem of what to do with garbage is not going away, and the costs are not going to get cheaper. They're just gonna keep escalating, not just recyclables, but municipal solid waste as well. And we know that all the towns are struggling, like Great Barrington is struggling, et cetera. So I think that's a good thing, that they're still willing to try and be involved, and the first project might be for handling, trying to find an aggregation site for hazardous materials or for something else, because really there needs to be more than one a year for collection days, right? Because it ends up being better for everybody if those things are collected often, but whatever. Meanwhile, trying to get our costs down, Casella came in, like, this is still kind of premature, Casella came in with some preliminary numbers. They actually believe that if the Southern Berkshire haulers were to take stuff to their Pittsfield site and they were to haul it, there'd be, quote, significant cost savings. This was today that I was working on this, I am skeptical, so I'm gonna run the numbers for us, because I really don't think that hauling it to Pittsfield and then having that Pittsfield stuff hauled to Springfield will result in anything resembling a significant cost savings, but I will let the numbers guide me in this.
I have an idea, it doesn't really address the big picture, but is it worth coming back to Roger and Casella for bids, or competitive bids?
Good, is it the end of the 3-year
I think
contract
it-
right now?
Yeah,
Casella,
we need to
the
decide
contract from the
if we wanna-
beginning was an asterisk that said maybe we'll go up by 10%, right? Like, it was a 1-year contract, kind of.
And I think their management has altered now, and they seem to kind of have themselves together a little in a more collective way. This is one of the issues that's come up. I'm just gonna put it right out there, that large communities or aggregate communities, like the Northern Berkshire group, that's a bunch of towns, or the towns that have 17 towns in the valley, seem to be able to negotiate pretty decent contracts with Casella. they did not treat us well, right? They were not responsive, they were,
When they bought the Lennox Valley.
Yeah.
And,
and they were in an intermittent
Yeah.
period, but there does seem to be some consistency in talking to people that larger communities get, like larger aggregate groups, get better response, have a dedicated agent that is responsive and get better contracts. And smaller towns don't have that experience.
How does our contract relate to other towns around in terms of timing? Are they all coming due at different times, different years?
I know that New Marlboro also is coming.
Doesn't New Marlboro do a 1-year contract?
And
But I
Marlboro's
don't
was
think so,
Rogers,
because she
right?
said that their contract was up and they were looking at it now. So that would imply that it's in the law.
They use Roger.
But everyone is looking at their costs and trying to figure out how to get it done.
Why wouldn't we put it up for bid?
Because the last time we put it out, it was problematic.
It was terrible because Casella gave us 1 year, Roger gave us years 2 and 3 had not definitive numbers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think if we do it, I almost think we should just do a 1-year contract because it would be such a terrible experience. And Roger came in actually a little bit more expensive than Casella on the bidding. And Casella had just bought Lennox Valley and was being terrible customer service, terrible reliability. And then we had a bad experience even leaving them. They like destroyed their hopper.
Yeah, we asked to buy the hopper and they said they wouldn't do it,
No,
but
they
then
came
they
down
drove
and
down
destroyed
and actually destroyed it and hauled it off in pieces rather than sell it to us, which kind of sums up how I feel about that company.
So, and you don't need a contractor to put out to bid, as I understand it, municipal solid.
No,
waste.
we don't have to.
So when is it
We're
due?
not required to,
When's the deadline on it?
probably end of this week.
Fiscal year? So should Roger send out some information?
Yeah.
Sure.
And are there any other players in the industry? in this
Not
area?
really, there's a few others, like Barbados, but they declined to bid, I think, last time. I think we're a little far north for the, I think they're the United, I can't remember the name, but there's one that's in Connecticut and had been looking to maybe expand, but I think we're interested in coming this far north. I mean, it's awkward, especially if they also have to haul our recyclables.
So one thought would be, Roger, reaching out to,
And we have a contract
Regional
with
planning?
Springfield.
and see if they have a list of possibilities, if there are more than just Casella and Rogers that could come. Maybe there are, maybe some out of Connecticut or something.
What about Valley?
Casella Bob Valley.
Valley's gone, that's the problem, that's been a problem, everyone.
Okay,
And I think the problem we're gonna have with the Connecticut group is that we have a contract with Springfield. So they'll still have to haul recyclables to Springfield, yeah.
are there any other, is there anything else before we move on to minutes?
Nothing for me.
I just want to add something to bring
Oh, sure.
to you guys. This was brought to my attention when I took over. It's just a letter you guys sent to us about changing the name of the pond.
Yeah.
So I'm just picking the ball up on that.
Oh, so Hume made a submission.
They did.
Yeah.
It never went through.
It may not, so it's a long, difficult process and they don't like changing the names of things. Let me look up because, Tim,
It's currently Stedman without the A.
Oh, the other step.
So it's Stedman with an A and without an
Do you wanna change the name? of
so
the pond?
Ken,
A. The town.
so
wants to
Ken, the
change name.
town wants to change it. So a couple of years ago, someone released an alligator or someone was smoking something because there was,
I remember that.
there was a report that there was an alligator in Stedman Pond, but
The Hume Stedman now?
No.
which one, we don't even know.
No,
The other one.
no,
It was reported at the other one.
So then we had different people looking at different Stedman ponds in one town, so we said, we need to rename one of these ponds. Because what if there's a kid drowning and they say, I'm at Stedman Pond, and they go to the wrong pond?
And that's our concern. Is
So-
that if someone is drowning in our pond, we want them to respond, not there, but to the.
Yeah.
I never put that
It's a
together, I
big-
didn't realize.
it's a concern for us.
So,
especially with all
state
this.
geologist, oh, they sent,
So
So this is
that
town
letter was
Monterey.
sent to
oh,
us.
that's the back, so there's a second page.
Okay, I never saw the second page. I'm just
Um,
going through documents as I took over. and
yeah,
see what was
absolutely.
still
So-
done.
so this state geologist,
Just change it.
To Jen.
you all submitted,
Jim Collins.
who was Tim
So let's just change it.
No, we
Tim
can't.
was the
Well, you
previous,
can't. I already, just a FYI, I've already gone through the process. So it's submitted, I'm just coming to let you guys know that we're carrying out
Oh,
the
great,
process.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm responding to your request.
Right, right.
Bringing up to speed that it's currently been submitted to the National GIS. They're the ones who are in charge of it. I'll contact DEP and all the state officials to find out if there's any state process.
Yeah,
Everyone I've talked to is gone. We just do whatever they do.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's at the federal level alone.
Right.
And I've got clearance that no one in the state has a vested interest.
okay.
They just do what the federal does. I've gotten response back from the council. They meet on a quarterly basis. I forget if it's June or July, I have to look at my emails, is the next meeting. It's on the docket, and they asked me to send that letter, which I had misplaced at one point. And so I updated them to go, here's the letter from the town's request. They had mentioned that they would at one point reach out to the town to verify. So I wanted to bring it back to your attention that we're moving through the
Yeah,
process.
good.
And if they reach out to you, that you weren't caught off guard to go, who's changing what pond?
Hey,
So
awesome, thank you.
what name are you proposing?
I just did Hume Pond because it makes the most sense for EMS response to be at Hume.
Yeah,
So if there was a problem with any of our children drowning.
So the
or
original
incident,
Stedman family had no problems with this changing anything?
That was part of the, actually, there's a lot of regulations in that proposal that you have
Oh,
to jump
Lord.
through with hoops.
I can imagine. I
Like
can
the
imagine.
1874 map of Monterey lists both Stedman with an A and without an A
Really?
on our property.
Wow.
Well, do you know what's also difficult is that Stedman Pond was previously part of Sansfield. And that may be part of the
And it's
reason.
technically a reservoir, that's what they notified me. They said you could call it a pond if you want, you can name it whatever you want. But they were like, it's officially registered as a reservoir, it was man-made.
Right.
The dam is just a man-made earthen dam.
Good.
So,
I should name my own pond.
So all we have to do is look for the letter coming at some
so
point.
if they reach out to you, this was just to notify the town that the National GIS might reach out to you to verify that you're okay with it. And that if they are okay with it, I submitted every piece of evidence that they had asked for. And made sure I checked through all of their regulations, because they basically have like 14 things that say, do not submit this form if you do not meet these regs, because I guess a lot of people probably ask to change names.
Yeah.
And they get annoyed, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
So I checked all of the regulations and we cleared all of them for what it would classify as acceptable. So now it just comes down to their decision and the town's acceptance of like that you're okay with it. So it's where it sounds, from their communication to me, that's where we are.
Sounds good.
So just an FYI to the town, if you get called from the National GIS, that's what it's about.
Thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, you bet.
I was of the understanding, probably from Tim, that they had already applied 2 years ago.
That's what I understand is that it started the process. I was told when I got here, they changed the name. And I went and looked at the registry and I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
So I found the letter in the process and was like, oh, here's a request from the town to do this. And I was like, well, let me do the research. So I did all the research, found it, and then was like, well, I'll approve
Well,
it.
thank you.
Get it done.
done.
So
It sounds like it was a piece of work.
Page,
took a couple days.
page 2 just said
Yeah.
it said nothing that all that interesting.
Do
Okay,
you have the document? You have?
Yeah.
you found it? Okay.
Well, I found a draft letter. It said,
This is all I have.
thank you, let us know if you have any questions, that kind of a deal.
Okay, very good.
We never heard from BNRC either.
Did you ever? Yeah. And I don't know that they, sounds like, would have to be involved according to.
Well, we asked
documentation.
either of them, because we didn't know if either of them would at all be interested in changing the names.
Right.
BNRC owns that
Yeah.
Stedman Pond.
Yeah.
They might be more hesitant to do it because they have a whole
Yeah. there's a
property
lot.
called the Stedman Pond
Right.
Reservation.
That was actually part of the national as well, was how much is that name in circulation to the general public in publications, written documents, And I assume theirs
That's
is a
what-
lot more than ours.
Yeah.
As ours probably has nothing, they probably have signs and flyers and all kinds of stuff, whereas, you know, unless you're local, you probably don't know that ours is called Federal Pond.
I definitely didn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't-
exactly. So, yeah. But in
Until
my
we had
research,
that
I was,
event.
it was very interesting in going through the process, so,
Well, thank you.
my pleasure.
Minutes?
And
I think I look great.
did you read them?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact, but I had nothing to do with them, so
This is true.
I can bail on these.
April 7th.
I'm just looking, I know I had like one thing,
Just the
yeah.
ones that he.
My only comment is that
I
they're
did
very
not.
wordy.
I was just wanting to remember what I did. I think it was just that one paragraph.
I did,
Yep, yep.
I added that there's a 6-month probationary period for the new police officer, which was already listed above, but I put it in the motion. I deleted a paragraph about public engagement prior to town meeting for redundancy, that Susan also noted. I did clarify that the residency complaint meeting was regarding candidate for elected office, it wasn't just a random
That
resident.
makes sense.
You closed the parentheses on committee in the first paragraph.
Sorry, I was just doing substantive.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah. Okay, and then the paragraph, and then that seems like that's kind of it, right? Just doing some- Yeah, I like the addition on residency committee. Okay, cool.
I'll move that we approve the April 7th minutes as amended.
Second,
Call a vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Do you wanna abstain?
I'll abstain.
Okay, so the minutes of April 7th are approved as amended by a vote of 2-0.
you weren't part of it, so fair. Right, and clip yours.
April 28th. Deleted paragraph, Susan, that you thought was redundant. Deleted, in discussing the Lombardo Park articles, it said select board members suggested that many residents may be confused about the purpose of the funding request.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then I just added, Frank had handed out a memo and asked
Oh, yeah, that's right.
that he didn't share it at the fire department hearing, but he wanted it to be attached to the meeting minutes
Where is it? Did you do that?
Very
at the very end.
Okay, sorry, I was. Right,
I wasn't even at the hearing, but I was just trying to recount what Frank said at this meeting.
yeah, no, I got that part, I just couldn't find it, and I was looking too high up.
Alright, I'll move that we approve the April 28th minutes as amended.
Second,
We'll call a vote.
yes.
Yes,
Abstain.
2-0, those minutes are approved. Anything else before we adjourn our next meeting? So Ken, we've been meeting usually Tuesdays at 6 p.m. And during the budget season, we're meeting about every week, but really the idea is every other week.
Oh, wonderful. Music.
Roger and I were talking about going to once a month.
Definitely. Definitely. Long meeting, but once a month.
That would be very painful. Like, the thought of the number of, like, this time of year, no, but,
I actually suggested every 5 weeks, but it didn't make any sense.
yeah.
The key here is interesting, that Roger's saying once a month. The key here is that it really falls on the
No, I
town
was
administrator
just joshing.
to keep everything going. If we're
Yeah,
meeting
and
once
to
a
make
month.
sure all those i's are dotted, t's are crossed,
So I
and
think
anybody.
if we wanna meet,
Every other
if we
week.
want the select board to meet once a month, I think that we need to delegate
Oh,
hiring and firing authority to the town administrator.
Yeah, for sure.
let's wait on that and talk about that, but I think every other week makes sense.
Every other week.
Yeah.
Okay, So because we pushed the special town meeting date off, to the 27th provisionally at least, we don't need to rush and have a weird Friday meeting, which, whoa.
What?
I was gonna be flying out of town, driving out of town anyway, so that wouldn't have really worked.
Okay, so
So,
we're talking the second
It
here?
would be the 2nd of June would be the next one.
And just since we're talking about meetings and it's the beginning of the new term, are we still happy with Tuesdays? Because we went from Wednesday to Tuesday because Frank often attended a dinner thing on Wednesdays. You too, okay.
Oh, that's all connected, aren't you?
So I'd like to propose that we keep it Tuesday.
I wanted, oddly enough, Wednesday would work really well for me, but also I really like keeping Tuesday just for the consistency of people knowing. Because when I first got on the board, we did 9:30 and 6 and first Wednesday, third Wednesday,
It's crazy.
every week.
I'm
First
okay with the
meeting,
same
yeah.
day of the week.
Yeah.
It's, if we changed it from Tuesday to Wednesday, I wouldn't care, but I'm okay with Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
So does that work with, because if we do the 2nd, then the 16th would be the next one, does that work for, if we have to sign
27.
anything for the 27th?
Yep.
Or would we have to like have a Thursday 11 o'clock meeting for signing whatever one?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they told us they're gonna have it on the 28th
Of
this
May.
month,
Yeah.
Which would mean the second
the
should be
second,
okay.
which means the 2nd should be okay.
Because let's
If
just,
it's still not ready,
and say they're like, oh geez, here it is, it's the 10th of June, it's ready, what, I forget what our, what is our timing now?
2 weeks, 14 days,
So we would have to have it out.
14 calendar days. So
But
looking
there's a
at,
great deal of flexibility on the board, so I think that if there's need to get together to do something because of this June meeting.
special meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call
Special day.
as like a 2-minute meeting to sign in one.
Yep.
But it's 14 days, and it's 14 days posted, which means if we are cutting it close, we need Julio on speed dial.
Yeah.
Because we can sign it and that's all well and good, but Julio needs to put it up.
And just some clarification on that, so when we do put this together and I create the little spreadsheet like we normally do, are we just gonna do those 2 lines or 3 lines that it's gonna show?
Well, it's gonna be 3 lines.
3 lines, yeah,
Essentially,
like
but I would do the whole 300s, if that's the right number, including the school committee thing, so we can compare it year over year. And probably do the subtotal at the bottom, and you can talk to town council, but the subtotal at the bottom that says the total operating budget, so, which is what was missing from this year's budget.
So effectively, just so I kind of grab it in my head, we'll have a spreadsheet that basically shows the schools, and then at the bottom of that, we'll show the total operating budget for everything, including the schools.
Yeah.
Year over year, separated out that way.
Yeah.
So people know when they get there what they're voting for, that it was this number last year, and it's this number, there's a total number this year, total number.
And this is what it did to the taxes as a whole.
Yes.
And someone will write a cover letter for the community so they understand what we're doing.
Depending if we need it.
I would suggest.
It may be very simple,
Maybe very straightforward.
but if they're gonna lay off 17 people or already have, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
It could just be 1 page too, right?
Oh, yeah.
The
yeah,
letter
just
can
a-
be at the top because
Just
it's
a
only
cover
one
letter,
article.
yeah.
And the article could be on the bottom.
I'm hesitant,
No,
Roger,
it has, no,
I'm hesitant to make them 1
the
page.
letter should be separate.
Yeah.
Letter should be separate.
All right, that helps.
Okay.
And town council is a good resource, and the school committee council.
I mean, we'll have to wait and hear what they say, and maybe that will inform us what we need to say.
Cause I know there's talk swirling around about 112, but now they laid people off.
I mean, in honesty, even at the 112, they would, if anything, they'd probably have to lay off more people. Because 112 would be no increase, it's 112 of last year's budget, right? So basically, that's 0, flat line in the budget, yeah?
Exactly 112, or is there some adjustment?
No, it's 112 based on the.
Well, you know what, Susan, it comes back to these questions that you raised earlier in the meeting of, they don't even know the E&D number yet, so.
So I'm gonna take great pleasure in suggesting that we adjourn.
Second, we'll call a vote,
Yes,
yes. Okay,
Yes.
What time is it?
that's unanimous vote to adjourn at 7:57.
look at that. Still, and even